getting to that state as well, getting all the
Hey, sure. Oh, he knows he's going to need as much attention as possible, but he did actually hit Joe Brown and so no positive bonus, but builds it there with the big call out. Oh, what a block on that one, RC, to keep the pressure on and attack from the defense. Oh my God, but again with the sweet chin music and finds the hit, but drops the combo. He taps the dust.
GuiltyGearStrive is an insanely good point right now, and I feel like that isn't stressed enough. A lot of people are very hung up about the balance of some characters, and I totally understand why. Testament, Abba, and Bridget are going through hell right now, since the potential character is kind of going through it, and your top tiers are pretty strong without a doubt. There's no arguing that. I'm just arguing that Pot is in top 1, but it's been in such a good state, and I feel like someone has to talk about the most recent majors and how it represents the best of Guilty Gear right now. As we've had 2 majors in the past release of Guilty Gear 2.0, and my goodness, man, it's just been good. Evil Japan and Combo Breaker being the biggest ones I've gotten so far for both Japan and NA, and Evil Japan had this good variation between characters that were big and small. Combo Breaker had a very good variation of characters that were simple and complicated, and even characters that were mid-tier being shown to be completely viable within the tournament. But in today's video, I just want to talk about these tournaments, the positives about the tournaments, and how they represent, again, the best of Guilty Gear Strive right now. The first thing to know is the character variation between Combo Breaker and Evil Japan. Both these tournaments have excellent character variety. A mixture of set play, complicated, simple, big, small, you name it, they're all here in a great way to be represented. Having 2 tournament top 8s and having 16 different characters is like fantastic. It really shows that the balancing of the game is in a pretty good state. Again, even though there's some strugglers, I'm not arguing that, but the variation shows that if you're a viewer of Guilty Gear, there's going to be a character that you're at least going to want to watch. Because I got Potemkin in Evil Japan, but not in Combo Breaker. But in Combo Breaker, the goal I was looking forward to was Paluna, who was a fantastic Dizzy main, and I'm not gonna lie, Dizzy is probably one of the most satisfying zoners to watch in the current patch, maybe next to Axel. Thus heads into my next point. New and old faces being represented together. Seeing the talent of old players being pit against new players that are trying to challenge their way through with their characters is a genuine treat to behold. Paluna was well known during Season 4 making like bottom 2 Dizzy actually work, but consistently getting results since the release of 2.0 shows that Dizzy's in a better state, allowing Paluna's talent to rise through, as she's an insanely good player. It's a shame that in Loser Side Top 6 she was matched against Jack, who came second place at Combo Breaker, but it was down to the wire. I'm not gonna lie, that back throw was robbery, but it was down to the wire. Paluna really stuck it out. You've got to give her props for that. And Cloent, who's also a fantastic Slayer main since Season 3, started to level up and really stand out among her competitors. It was a shame that she wasn't able to get any further, but yeah, in top 8 in the first NA major is huge. In Evil Japan, there was a couple of new faces as well. At least I didn't recognize them, being the Bedman player, who's the best in Japan, and the Asuka Amelia player, who really stood out, did a fantastic job against some of the GOATs of the Japanese scene, such as Churara. And of course, Darius from Korea, my goodness. It was a shame Tatuma wasn't in that top 8, but that really goes to show that he didn't get to perform well against some of these newer faces and some of the older talents that you know. It's got me excited for the competitive scene, getting ready for new players that I've never seen before, or older players leveling up their game to the point where they're catching up to some of those players like Cherio, Jack, Churara. You get what I'm saying? These players are fantastic, and the new faces are really doing their bit to try and stick it to them. And of course, the final thing you've got to mention about the tournaments is that the gameplay is so fun to watch right now. They understand the game feel of a mixture of they want bullshit blazing, but they also want genuine, honest fighting game fundies. And Guilty Gear 2.0, I think he's managed to hit that balance of bullshit and beauty. With a lot of good back and forth you're starting to see in the gameplay, it makes it exciting as you don't know who to root for in these final strike moments. No wild assault, it's just kinda like homogenizing character offense to stagger pressure and nothing else. And unique character traits finally making an appearance as an important tool is insane, as he's actually playing to our toolkit rather than Blue Wild Assault into set up our tool. In case you had to be on the ball when it came to committing, same with Churara on Sin. These characters need you to use your brain when you do like hit confirm. You need to be on your game, you can't miss out in these scenarios, and it makes it exciting to see the players hit the stuff that they've been practicing rather than wild assaulting and slopping their way through combos. And I think that's what it mostly comes down to. Such a toxic mechanic being gone has allowed the characters' balances, and weaknesses, and strengths to actually shine through and not be homogenized or held back or turned into genuine strike throw, and that's it. It's always been good to watch a tournament, but it's even better to watch a tournament in 2.0. Again, the only thing I think Guilty Gear needs to address right now is balancing the lower tier characters, and that's about it, because your top tiers aren't breaking the game anymore. They're just strong. And that's it. And that's a good thing where we can look at the game's system mechanics and go like, they're fine. You don't need to touch them. In my opinion, all of these system mechanics of Guilty Gear right now are perfectly fine. And I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole. But the characters certainly need some work up. And that's about it. Game is near a perfect state right now, because you can't get balancing correct. I mean, Deadlock's the perfect example of that. They tried a new thing with Earn and everybody hates it, and they had to readjust it. And I think the Earn idea was a decent idea, it's just there's a couple of iffy balancing. For example, some characters are just busted with that new version of the Earn. Bit of a side tangent, but you get my point. It's impossible to make a game fully balanced, and if people say the game is balanced, the game tends to rely heavily on the system mechanics for it to actually make it balanced. I'm not one to hear balancing when the game's systems are too good for the character stripes to come through, unlike GuiltyGearStrive 2.0 right now, where the character stripes are fantastic to watch. But onlines have been great, offlines have been great, and I am looking forward to what Evo Vegas is going to bring for us, because that is going to be the big tournament coming up. It's a shame that Vegas is getting a bit more corporate with every time I watch it. Like, I'm like, bloody hell at times, you know. And I can't wait for some of the EU tournaments, VSF. We've seen what NA's got, we've seen what Japan's got. VSF in the UK, where I'm gonna be there, I cannot wait. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, hype, sub, and tell me what you think about Guilty Gear tournaments and who you're rooting for. Who's your star player for this year? For me, it's always Andros. I'm thinking NA. It's probably Paluna. Dizzy's too fun to watch right now. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.